So I think I'm on chapter 18, and there are 21 chapters in Judges. So obviously 15 and 16 were about Samson and Delilah, which was quite funny, especially the bit about the foxes. And then we read about Micah's idols. So he made some kind of idols out of the money that he took from his mother. He told her that he had the money, and he made household gods and idols from the silver, and kind of hired a priest to come and live with him. And at the end of the chapter it says, Micah installed the Levite, who was a priest, and the young man became his priest and lived in his house. And Micah said to me, now I know the Lord will be good to me, since this Levite has become a priest. And now we're moving on to chapter 18, where it says the Danites settled in Laish. In those days Israel had no king, and in these days of the Danites, the tribe of the Danites were seeking a place of their own where they might settle, because they had not come into inheritance because of among the tribes of Israel. So the Danites sent out 5 of their leading men from Zorah and Eshtaol to spy out the land and explore it. The men represented all the Danites. They told them, go and explore the land. So they entered the hill country of Ephraim, and they came to the house of Micah, where they spent the night. When they were near Micah's house, they recognized the voice of the young Levite. So they turned in there and asked him, who brought you here? What are you doing in this place? Why are you here? He told them what Micah had done for him. He said, he's hired me and I'm his priest. Then they said, please inquire of God to learn whether our journey will be successful. So they're going to find a place to live, these Danites. He told them what Micah had done for them. So the priest answered them, go in peace, your journey has the Lord's approval. So the 5 men left and came to Laish, where they saw that the people were living in safety, like the Sidonians, at peace and secure. And since the land lacked nothing, they were prosperous. Also, they lived a long way from the Sidonians and had no relationship with anyone else. When they returned to Zorah and Eshtaol, their fellow Danites asked them, how did you find things? They said, come, let's attack them. Who? We've seen the land and it's very good. Oh, the people who are living on that land already, probably. So don't hesitate to go there and take it over when you get there. You'll find an unsuspecting people in a spacious land that God has put into your hands, a land that lacks nothing. So 600 men of the Danites armed for battle set out from Zorah and Eshtaol. On their way, they set up camp near Kitteth Jearim in Judah. This is why the place west of Kitteth Jearim is called Mahanadan to this day. From there they went to the hill country of Ephraim and came to Micah's house. Then the 5 men who spied out the land of Laish said to their fellow Danites, do you know that one of these houses has an ephod, some household gods, and an image overlaid with silver? Now you know what to do. So they turned in there and went to the house of the young Levite at Micah's place and greeted him. The 600 Danites, armed for battle, stood at the entrance of the gate. The 5 men who spied out the land went inside and took the idol, the ephod, and the household gods, while the priest and the 600 armed men stood at the entrance of the gate. When the 5 men went into Micah's house and took the idol, the ephod, and the household gods, the priest said to them, what are you doing? They asked him, be quiet, don't say a word, come with us and be our father and our priest. Isn't it better you serve a tribe and clan in Israel as a priest rather than just one man's household? The priest was very pleased. He took the ephod and the household gods and the idol and went along with the people, putting their little children and their livestock and their possessions in front of them. They turned away and left. When they'd gone some distance from Micah's house, the men who lived near Micah were called together and overtook the Danites. As they shouted after them, the Danites turned and said to Micah, what's the matter with you that you called your men to fight? He replied, you took the gods I made and my priest and went away. What else do I have? How can you ask what's the matter with you? The Danites answered, don't argue with us, or some of the men may get angry and attack you, and your family will lose your lives. So the Danites went their way, and Micah, seeing that they were too strong for him, turned around and went back home. Then they took what Micah had made and his priest and went on to Laish against the people at peace and secure. They attacked them with the sword and burned down the city. There was no one to rescue them because they lived a long way from Sidon and had no relationship with anyone else. The city was in a valley near Beth Rehob. The Danites rebuilt the city and settled there. They named it Dan after their ancestor Dan, who was born to Israel. Though the city used to be called Laish. There, the Danites set up for themselves the idol, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, and his sons were priests for the tribe of Dan. Until the time of the past captivity of the land, they continued to use the idol Michael made. All the time the house of God was in Shiloh. Chapter 19. A Levite and his concubine. In those days Israel had no king. Now a Levite who lived in a remote area in the hill country of Ephraim took a concubine from Bethlehem in Judah, but she was unfaithful to him. She left him and went back to her parents' home in Bethlehem, Judah. After she'd been there for 4 months, her husband went to her to persuade her to return. She had with him a servant and 2 donkeys. She took him into her parents' home, and when her father saw him, he gladly welcomed him. His father-in-law, the woman's father, prevailed on him to stay, and so he remained with him 3 days, eating, drinking, and sleeping there. On the 4th day, they got up early, and he prepared to leave, but the woman's father said to his son-in-law, "Refresh yourself with something to eat, then you can go." So the 2 of them sat down to eat and drink together. Afterwards, the woman's father said, "Please stay tonight and enjoy yourself." And when the man got up to go, his father-in-law persuaded him to so he stayed there the night. On the morning on the 5th day, when he rose to go, the woman's father said, "Refresh yourself, wait until afternoon." So the 2 of them ate together. Then when the man with his concubine and his servant got up to leave, his father-in-law said to the woman's father, "Now look, it's almost evening. Spend the night here." Just start on him to stay for the night. But unwilling to stay on the night, the man left and went towards Jebus, that is Jerusalem, with his 2 saddle donkeys and his concubine. When they were near Jebus, and the day was almost gone, the servant said to his master, "Come, let's stop at the city of the Jebusites and spend the night." His master replied, "No, we won't go into any city whose people are not Israelites. Go on to Gibeah." He added, "Come, let's try and reach Gibeah or Ramah and spend the night in one of those places." So they went on, and as the sun set, they neared Gibeah in Benjamin. There they stopped to spend the night. They went and sat in the city square, but no one took them in for the night. That evening, an old man from the hill country of Ephraim, who was living in Gibeah, inhabitants of the place of Benjamites, came in from his work in the fields. When he looked and saw the traveller in the city square, the old man asked, "Where are you going? Where did you come from?" He answered, "We are on our way from Bethlehem in Judah to a remote area in the hill country of Ephraim where I live. I have been to Bethlehem in Judah, now I'm going to the house of the Lord. No one has taken me in for the night. We have both straw and fodder for our donkeys, and bread and wine for ourselves, your servants. Me, the women, and the young man with us, we don't need anything." "You're welcome at my house," the old man said. "Let me supply whatever you need. When you don't spend the night in the square." He took them into his house and fed his donkeys. After they'd washed their feet, they had something to eat and drink. While they were enjoying themselves, some of the wicked men of the city surrounded the house. Pounding on the door, they shouted to the old man, "Bring out the man who came to your house, so we can have sex with him." The owner of the house went outside and said to them, "No, my friends, don't be so vile. Since this man is my guest, don't do this." Outrageous thing. "Look, here is my virgin daughter and his concubine. I'll bring them up to you now, and you can use them and do with them whatever you wish. But this man, don't do such an outrageous thing." But the men would not listen to him, so the man took his concubine and sent her outside to them, and they raped her and abused her throughout the night. And at dawn, they let her go. At daybreak, the woman went back to the house where her master was staying, fell down at the door, and lay there until daylight. When her master got up in the morning and opened the door of the house and stepped out to continue on his way, there lay the concubine, fallen in the doorway of the house, with her hands on the threshold. He said to her, "Get up, let's go," but there was no answer. Then the man put on his donkey and set out for home. When he reached home, he took a knife and cut up his concubine, limb by limb, into 12 parts and sent them into all areas of Israel. everyone in Israel was saying to one another, such a thing has never been seen or done since the day the Israelites came out of Egypt. Just imagine. We must do something, so speak up.